The Phoenix Suns have reportedly fired their head coach, Mike Budenholzer, after a very lackluster season.
Yeah, that's what sources are telling ESPN. The team finishing in 11th place with a 36-46 record in this one season. And so we want to check in this morning with Mark McClune, who's taking a closer look at this. Not such a surprise, right? We had heard rumblings and we knew something was going to be changing.
Yeah, definitely not a surprise, and I do want to stress this hasn't been confirmed yet by the Phoenix Suns, but it is being reported by ESPN and The Athletic. So multiple reports. We've reached out to the Suns to try to get confirmation. A lot of times it needs to go through the NBA, and then they can put out the release. But yeah, Mike Budenholzer, third straight year, the Suns have made a coaching change, so it will now be 4 coaches in 4 years for Matt Ishbia's franchise. 49 wins, the 6th seed, and you know, a team that played decent defense last year just kind of fell apart this year, going 36-46. And I think the biggest thing was after the All-Star break, the team went 10-18. And I mean, at times there was a 4-game win streak in there where we thought, okay, maybe they found it, because they did start the season and looked like, you know, they kind of had new life, but never really found it the second half of the season. And there was just kind of a malaise over everything that culminated in them being eliminated last Wednesday by Oklahoma City and not having anything to play for in Fan Appreciation Night on Friday at PHX Arena.
So, Mark, what do you think is going to happen next? Obviously, the Big Three has not worked that well. We're now 4 coaches with them. There's been talk that Kevin Durant's not going to come back. Do you think there's going to be a big shakeup with the players?
Yeah, and Bradley Beal mentioned that on Friday, and it's some sound that I actually put on my social media channels. He was pretty candid. Devin Booker was pretty candid after Fan Appreciation Night. They both played and felt an obligation to play, but Bradley Beal said that Matt is going to demand changes, and I mean he should. He spent over $400 million on this payroll and on this team, and it didn't even reach the playoffs. So I mean, we're talking about one of the most disappointing teams put together in sports history to not even sniff the play-in. I mean, Beal's going to be hard to trade because he makes so much money, and I think Kevin Durant, as much as we saw it this year that he still can perform at an elite status, I think it's going to be hard to get the haul for him. Now, maybe Houston goes in the playoffs and doesn't meet expectations and says, okay, that's the piece away, so we'll give the Suns back all their draft picks that they traded to get Kevin Durant. But it's going to be very tricky, and putting this back together again, it's going to be something fascinating to follow all summer to opening day next year.
Yeah,
well,
sure.
Well, Mark, we just hopefully you have our AZ Family News app downloaded, because we just alerted you guys on your cell phone, hopefully. But we also just received a news release from the Suns announcing that the organization has relieved head coach Mike Budenholzer of his duties. It goes on to say, competing at the highest level remains our goal. We failed to meet expectations this season. Our fans deserve better. Change is needed. A very bold statement, Mark.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's Matt Ishbia. Those are his words. Look forward to hearing from him in the coming days. I don't know if it's going to be today or later this week. He did give a news conference last year that kind of drew the ire of the NBA, as he said that every other team in the league, all the GMs were jealous of the Suns roster, and so he put that out there, and he backed his guys, and he hired a new coach, and it wasn't the results that he wanted. But he has said over and over again, we're going to try to win a championship every year. We might not get it right. Obviously, they didn't get it right this year, so they'll reshuffle the deck. But how you reshuffle the deck, that's tricky with these 3 contracts. Is there a scenario where Kevin Durant does come back? I think there's a small window of that. I think Bradley Beal's probably gone. I think you would just rebuild around Devin Booker. But we've seen that. We saw that leading up to the NBA Finals in 2021 with a team around Devin Booker, and as well as he played, you're really going to have to be strategic about what you put around him. Yeah,
no doubt. Well, Mark, thank you. Obviously, it's certainly not a money problem, so we'll see how the Suns play this out. But thanks for your input.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep, anytime, guys.
Okay, thank you.